Jermaine's share would have been a little less than $85,000 for the rights of their life. Girl, who is that? Duffkin dog. Toto Jackson is worth more than $85,000. Girl, that wasn't enough. Well, hello there, love bugs. Hello there, Bellas. If you have not already done so, please remember to like, share the Facebook, subscribe, and visit uptopbeauty.com for these Mick shades in red. And if you are not already a part of our book club, please hit the Patreon link below and or the join button here on the YouTube, and for a small monthly fee of $5, you babies, yes you, can be privy to all the shenanigans before the YouTube gets it, if the YouTube gets it. Now let's continue talking about Jackson Family Values, Memoirs of Madness by Margaret Maldonado, not officially a Jackson. Even though I knew he didn't like discussing this subject, I worked it into every conversation. At first, his answer was a simple no. I don't have anything, and you'll get it when I get it, he said. When I would ask him how he expected his children to eat, he told me I should have thought of that before I moved out. Send the kids back. They won't starve here, he replied. Yeah, because Michael Jackson will make sure that his nephews won't starve over there in the Cirque du Soleil. It was a circular argument that was not about to go anywhere. The thought of finding a family law attorney came to mind, and I knew that eventually I would have to cross that bridge. At the moment, however, my thoughts were on an immediate source of cash. Polygram Films still owed KJ Films Inc. a final $2 million payment for the miniseries. It was being held in trust until Michael signed off on the agreement stating that he had no pre-existing contracts with any other company for his life rights. Michael had had the agreements for over a year but had yet to sign. In addition to money owed me as a producer on the project, there were many outstanding payments to others, among them executive producers Suzanne DePaz and Stan Margellis, the William Morris Agency, the Loeb and Loeb Law Firm, business manager Howard Grossman, and the Gordy Company for sync rights, plus some lingering bills, including payment for repairing damage to a swimming pool we had used on location. I happened to bump into John Bracker, Michael's attorney, at a school function. My son Jordan and one of John's children were in the same class. This was a golden opportunity to bring up the outstanding unsigned agreement. I explained that Michael's failure to sign on the dotted line was holding up a $2 million payment to KJ Films. It was money that was owed to a lot of people, including me. The fact that Jermaine and I had split didn't surprise him. Neither did the knowledge that I could make good use of any funds due me. He promised that he would look into it. These child M things they say about Michael, John said. It's amazing what people will do for money. I was happy to hear John supported Michael and knew as I did that Michael was totally innocent. I also knew that I could trust him. About a week later, the law firm of Loeb and Loeb received Michael's signature on the required document. Armed with the agreement, Loeb and Loeb sent it to Polygram and received a check made out to KJ Films Inc. for a little under $2 million in return. The bank made out the checks, and I personally drove around town and delivered them. With each delivery came a warning to cash the checks immediately, and almost no one questioned my meaning. Unfortunately, the Gordy Company held on to the check, and when they finally deposited it, the account had been closed. To this day, as far as I know, they've yet to be paid. After everyone had been paid, there was $934,916 47 cents left for the family to split 11 ways. See, what I say is that's not enough. That wasn't enough. Jermaine's share would have been a little less than $85,000 for the rights of their life. Girl, who is that? Duffkin dog. Toto Jackson is worth more than $85,000. Girl, that wasn't enough. Jermaine's share would have been a little less than $85,000. At this point, Jermaine still owed me more than $80,000 in funds that I had advanced him over the past year, including the child support money to Hazel. Pause. Peggy, I knew you was old dirty sneaky bitch. That's a dirty sneaky bitch right there. I see you, Peggy. Because I thought that you were paying that child support and his bills so that you can help him get a leg up because that was your man. Was that part of the agreement? Nothing that I read in this book said that I was doing this contingent upon Jermaine Jackson paying me back. You's a dirty, vengeful bitch, girl. Now all of a sudden he owe you the money? I thought y'all was in it to win it together. That was your man. You called listen, if you want to claim marriage with that relationship, then goddamn it, y'all married. That's not his debt. That's y'all debt. So you can use the Jackson name when it's convenient to you. Okay? But now that Jermaine got a bit of money up under his belt, now you want $80,000 of the $85,000 back, girl? You's a dirty. Oh, you's a DPB. A dirty pussy. At this point, Jermaine still owed me more than $80,000 in funds that I had advanced him over the past year, including the child support money to Hazel, the repayment of Jermaine's bank loan, the fees I paid on the storage locker, and the Japan tour taxes. Girl, since I didn't want to take all of his money, I left him nearly $14,000 and kept $71,000 to cover at least a portion of what he owed me. And I left all of Jermaine's money in the bank with the expectation that he would use it to repay me. I knew I wouldn't stand a chance of seeing it, not in this lifetime. I realize now that I put Howard Grossman in an uncomfortable position by asking him to call Catherine and tell her that the family's money was sitting in the bank. I was leaving for a while. I was terrified of Jermaine and knew that he wouldn't be happy that he had repaid me for his outstanding loan.
What I didn't expect was Catherine's reaction. She was outraged that I had gotten that check and paid the outstanding debts due on the miniseries. According to Catherine, since I left the family, I no longer had a responsibility to the show. She didn't realize or wouldn't admit that I was still an officer of the corporation and my responsibilities as a producer hadn't ended when I left Jermaine. Hold on, y'all. Let me take out my retainer. My bad. While I was still out of town, I called our attorney at Loeb & Loeb, who had been informed that Catherine was anything but pleased. The lawyer said that Catherine felt the firm had acted irresponsibly in giving me the check, to which Loeb & Loeb countered that I was still the chairman of the corporation and was the legally responsible party to handle the matter. When I returned home, Howard Grossman told me that the Jacksons were accusing him of conspiring with me against them, which was totally untrue. The next telephone call came from the bank. They had frozen my personal bank account. I had unwisely opened my own account at the same bank I used to deposit the KG film checks. Oh no, you was wrong on that, girl. You don't ever do that, girl. If you got a bank account with the credit union, you go on over there to the white man's bank, which is the Bank of America, and you open an account there. Just in case one account is overdrawn, you can go on over there to the other and say, oh girl, deposit that check over there in that bank because this one overdrawn and I don't want that money to be swallowed up. So like she said, unwisely. I had unwisely opened my own account at the same bank I used to deposit the KJ Films check. They had access to both accounts and had frozen both. Catherine had gone to the bank with her attorney, Terry Bingham, the very same attorney she had earlier complained would call Joseph at midnight or 1 a.m. Remember when Joseph was messing around with what she considered to be old plain Jane blonde white girl, and she was Joseph's attorney. Now she's using the same attorney to help her get the money. Catherine is a piece of work, y'all. They informed the bank that I was unauthorized to open an account in KJ Films' name or write any checks from the account. Since it was a large amount of money and involved the notorious Jackson family, the bank got nervous and put everyone's money on hold until they could sort out who had the real power in this play. I don't blame them. It's the Jacksons, by God. The bank had me on a speakerphone, and in the background, I heard Catherine ask me, "Why did you do that, Margaret? Why did you take the money?" I told her that I didn't take anything. I paid out funds that were contractually owed. Ignoring my comments, she shifted the subject and suggested I had taken money that belonged to Jermaine. "We lived with you, Catherine," I responded, wanting the bank officers to hear. "You know that I paid Jermaine's child support to Hazel. You know that I personally paid off his bank loans and storage fees. You know that I paid his back taxes. You're the first person who would know because you heard me complain every day about it. And you also heard him say that he would pay me back. She said that Jermaine would have paid me when he could." Okay, pause. This is again. If I had my whistle right now, I would blow it. Okay, again. Peggy, I don't like you, bitch. When you're in a relationship, it is 50-50. Okay, I could see Jermaine probably paying you back half of what you did, but y'all are in this together. That's not right. I mean, it's almost strategic the way you did things. I don't recall you saying that Jermaine said he was going to pay you back the money beforehand. I believe that was a play that you said during that time to seize the opportunity to turn what you paid out of love, supposedly air quotes, into a debt. Because I'm like, if you did it out of love and you wanting your man to succeed, why is it so important for him to pay you back now? On top of the fact that he's going to have to still pay you child support. Peggy? Oh, you's a dirty bitch. I don't agree. And I could be wrong, y'all. Y'all could be, dragging me through the mud right now, but that's not right. I offered a compromise. I would put Jermaine's money into an account in which both her signature and my signature would be required to pay any bills. She would therefore be able to see that every penny was going to support Jeremy and Jordan. It was logical. It was fair. Catherine refused. It was not logical. It was not fair. Every penny should not go to Jeremy and Jordan because of the fact that he has other children. Let it be sent to Catherine, and then Catherine will divide it up evenly between all the children. So I don't know. Peggy getting on my nerves in this. I want to, smack her in the face. I mean, I can do it. It ain't like she can fight. There was dead silence. It was the financial version of a Mexican standoff. True, I would be out $140,000, but Catherine and the Jacksons would be out almost $1 million if the funds were tied up in litigation. Finally, Catherine said, "Let her keep the money." The bank released the funds and we were required to sign paperwork that indicated that the matter was settled. The truth was that while I got to keep my fair share and Catherine got to dispense the remaining profits to the family, the issue was far from over. The call started the second I returned from a trip to Aspen. "Give me my money." It was Jermaine demanding that I return the funds I used to repay his loans. "Give me my money, Margaret." I wasn't in the mood to be dictated to by this man. But once again, I tolerated it for the moment, explaining to him that I had left nearly $14,000 in an account for him. Jermaine was outraged, claiming that Catherine hadn't given him a dime. The calls became more and more heated. Different verse, same chorus. "Give me my money." Within days, Jermaine began to change his approach, asking me if I could send Hazel $5,000 for him. The thought that I had left the Jackson family and was still expected to pay child support to Hazel was ridiculous. I was sorry to hear that Hazel wasn't getting paid now that I was gone, but it was no longer my concern. It was, however, the very reason I had left Jermaine some money in the account, and I told him exactly that.
Over the years, I had gained a lot of respect for Hazel and the way she raised her children. And I felt the same way about Didi, who was an outstanding mother. Didi and I saw each other infrequently after she was dropped by the family, but I knew she never really got over the loss of Tito. I wish now that I had had more time to talk with Didi, particularly in light of what happened on the morning of August 27th, 1994.